Hello guys, it's amazing Chang here. So today I'm back with another Hotpot Hot Shots interview, and today we're interviewing a 24-year-old native Vietnamese teacher, and we're gonna interview him about his journey to become a teacher and also his advice and his plans for the future.
Hey guys, so it's Jane here. I'm heading out to go to this famous hot pot joint. It's called Haidilao. I don't know if I pronounced it correctly. I'm going to meet up with a friend and I'm gonna interview him. Alright, let's go.
Just a little sneak peek of Saigon at night for those Saigon lovers and for those who are about to move to Saigon. And round the corner, we arrived here at the restaurant Haidilao. A quick overview of the surrounding. Let's go in. So you go to the Trieu gate of the Bitexco tower. Don't take the escalator, rather go straight in, turn right, and then take the elevator. Once you're in the elevator, go to floor number 2. That's where our restaurant will be. We're officially here. We're gonna go find my friend. Really crowded tonight. This restaurant is definitely crowded during the weekend, and you have to get there early to get a queue number. It was number 138 when we got there, and our queue number was 178. It was undebatable that their customer service was definitely top tier. They have all these snacks for you and even ice cream for you to munch on while you're waiting for your table. My friend got a little strawberry ice cream, and they even have manicure service. You can even fold paper stars or paper cranes, and you get credited 1,000 back into your bill, which give every 3 stars or 1 crane that you fold. So this is us doing that. We didn't get many done, but in the end they gave us a 100,000 discount voucher for that. I think we waited around like 30 or 40 minutes before we finally got our table set up. My friend is going to make us his homemade sauce. What I like about this place is also their seasoning buffet, where you can basically get a bunch of different types of seasoning, herbs, sauces, whatever you like.
This isn't a recipe, by the way.
Don't follow this recipe. It isn't. So yeah, basically just make an abundant mixture of whatever you like and throw it in one of the empty compartments. They do have a very diverse menu, so it takes several tries for you to figure out what you really like, and this is what we usually go for. Okay guys, so today we're here at a Chinese themed hot pot franchise named Haidilao. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. Anyways, we're here with my friend Nam. Today we're gonna have a little interview with him. Are you ready?
Yes.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, as my friend here has told you guys, my name is Nam, and sometimes I refer to myself as Andy because that is like my initials, which is an N and a D, and makes a pretty good name. So yeah, sometimes I call myself Andy. I'm Jane's friend. First of all, I'm also an English teacher right now. I'm teaching IELTS mostly. I am an introvert that most people claim to be extrovert. They do not believe that I'm an introvert at all. I love cats. I have 2 cats. They are back at my hometown right now, but I love them like my children. That's all.
Thank you. That's a pretty good introduction. Next question is, why are we here today at Haidilao?
Well, we're here because Jane wanted to do an interview where it's just 2 friends casually having hot pot together and basically having a conversation. But also because I'm kind of in that depressing chapter of my life and she's been helping me going through with it. So yeah, that's also partly why we're here. Asian people tend to solve our mental issues through eating, and hot pot is one of the really great options to accomplish that.
You mentioned that you're an English teacher. I'm interested, specifically an IELTS teacher, right? What is IELTS and how did you become an IELTS or an English teacher?
If you didn't know, the IELTS test is basically short for the International English Language Test System. Basically, it is a certificate that you want to, maybe apply for a citizenship. Maybe you want to study abroad. It is highly valued internationally. And the reason I became an IELTS teacher is that I've never really chosen teaching as my career before, but when I got older, I realized that working for money is extremely difficult. There is a period of my life where I'm just, bedridden and I did nothing around the house and I just lie there waiting for people to visit me, including change. We just hang out and I asked her about what she was doing and she told me, yeah, I started teaching IELTS. The income is very attractive. And I was like, well, really? How can I get in on that? And she told me I have to study my ass out. I have to take the test and learn teaching skills. You also need a teaching certificate, not TESOL specifically, but TESOL would be a great help, by the way. I applied on my own. At first, I applied to the place where Jane worked at, but when I applied, she already stopped working there, which is unfortunate. But luckily for me, I failed the application, and I think it was a blessing in disguise because now I found a much better place with a better environment, a terrific boss. I get also got to meet a lot of interesting students and people who are really good at their fields. I don't know if you can hear me or not. ASMR.
So now, you said that you had to study for the IELTS or study to become a teacher. What do you have to study specifically? And you said you study your ass off. Was it hard? Was it really that hard for you?
Yeah, I said studied my ass off. I think it was quite an overstatement. Basically, I studied, but the most difficult part was actually sitting up from my bed and actually getting into studying mode because I'm a chronic procrastinator. Finding that motivation is the most difficult part for me. And in terms of what I actually needed to study, well, it basically is the test format. IELTS is not just it's not just an English test. Basically, it's not just where you would, answer question relating to grammar only. They wouldn't just ask you like, what does this word means? What is the best synonym for this? No, no. The IELTS is where you have to apply whatever you already know about the language into practice, actually. What was most difficult for me was, I think, it was writing. Basically, because writing in IELTS, specifically IELTS academic, is quite nuanced. You have to learn what does the examiner expects from your writing. You can go with a cheerful tone and be like, "Hey, today I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to have an essay elaborating on this certain subject." You're not gonna get the score that you hoped for. You have to cater for their expectations, and that was the most difficult part for me because I have a very strong personality and catering to other people is not really my thing. But hey, you gotta do whatever you gotta do to get that score.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting that it's not enough that you have the language skill. He put it precisely, cater to, what the examiner needs from you. But then I wonder, what was your background like before you took the IELTS? Because I don't think that you can just start from scratch and be this fluent in English and take the IELTS and become a teacher just like that. I don't think so. Tell us a little bit more about, your studies or your background, your educational background in general.
Yeah, I forgot to mention this. So as I have said, the IELTS is not just a basic English test; it is a league of its own. And so before you try attempting at IELTS, you need to have a solid foundation beforehand. And in order to do that, you need more than just the IELTS courses. I saw a lot of IELTS courses floating around the marketings, the advertisements. However, they can be misleading. They usually mislead people into thinking that I don't really need to study English beforehand. I only need to study IELTS, and they have these punchline like get band 7 in 4 months or 2 months. No, if you want to get like band 7 from like scratch, maybe delay that testing date back 4 years, not 4 months. The way that I studied for IELTS is not something that many people can emulate. But this is good. So basically, what I meant by not every person can emulate what me and Jang did with our IELTS test is that we approach IELTS isn't the same way as many people would. We already have a pretty solid foundation in English, and for us, the IELTS is like how you already know your native tongue, right? And you have to study literature, and you have to take the literature test in your native tongue. For us, it's similar about my academic background. Well, there is a certain overlap with James because we came from the same faculty. Basically, we studied a branch of political science, which is called international relations. So basically, international relations revolves a lot around, of course, English, an international language. We have to digest English material like every day, and it's not just basic English material. It's not like Friends or How I Met Your Mother variety of English. It is like parliament speech, presidential debates, things like that. We have to debate, we have to analyze, and we have to create essays from those materials. So basically, IELTS is different topics, but same vein, same difficulty. I think you also have something to share about this.
Personally, I think studying international relations definitely helped in bettering your English abilities and maybe expanding your social knowledge as well. But I don't know. When in college, do you ever think that you would become an English teacher?
I didn't. I didn't set the expectation of studying international relations just to be an English teacher. No, absolutely not. But it helped. It helped a little bit. It serves as a kind of a waking call for myself because before going into college, I was quite fluent in English already. But once I entered IR, I realized that my English is not that good. It's certainly not good enough to excel at what I'm studying. So I started improving myself. I read more, I listened more, and I picked up the hobby of listening to podcasts. Also, I'm pretty lucky that I came across people in my faculty that are also equally fluent in English, like Jane. And I was really surprised that they are also comfortable with speaking English like I did. It was a it was a real breath of fresh air because back then I came from a rural town. Back in our hometown, speaking in English just wasn't that common. When I met Jane, it started with a few sentences, and then once we realized, oh, he could keep up with me. She could keep up with me. We just started going full on English conversation. Now, as I digress, I will circle back to the teaching part. Me teaching now is like circumstantial, but it's kind of like destined because my mother is a teacher, has been a teacher for the longest time. She also urged me to try teaching. Maybe you'll enjoy it. I did not listen to her. Only when, as I said, I graduated, it was difficult looking for a job, and Jane was showing me how much an English teacher could earn, and yeah, maybe I'll give that a try. Surprisingly, it clicked. I am someone that people would describe as a little bit bossy, like bossing people around and teach them what is best, basically the qualities that you will find in your elementary, your high school teachers. And I think I'm quite funny. It brings me comfort to instill knowledge and to teach because like teaching isn't like other kinds of creative job where you have to come up with new things every day. I can just teach what I already know. But there are still so much room for me to improvise, for me to be creative with my lessons. I didn't intend to go into teaching, but it certainly is a good place that I am right now.
I'm happy and glad that you found something that you're passionate about. Not many people get to find what their passion is in life. That is definitely a lifelong journey. Anyway, so you said that You like bossing people around a little bit, and that kind of helps with being a teacher. So, what about what you dislike about teaching? Maybe what challenges that you encounter in your teaching career?
That is a difficult question. Difficulties, there are certainly a lot of that. There's this shock that first came when I started teaching. Just because you perceive a problem as simple, easy to understand, doesn't mean it's the same for everyone else. When I first taught my student about a grammar structure, it was a real basic structure that I simplified already. And I prepare a very easily digestible example. They still didn't get it. That frustrated me. But now I learn a lot from those experiences. I think I can deal with the situation a little bit better. What I hate about teaching is definitely students who are not willing to study. I understand that when you try to study a new skill, a new language, a new subject, there will be some point where you become discouraged. But you must learn how to manage that feeling of defeat, or else you will be actually defeated. And that is not a great place to be. When I see my student having that feeling, despite my encouragement, my motivational speech, they don't improve. You cannot teach someone who are not willing to listen in the first place. That is really disheartening because, like, why are you here? You're wasting your time and my time, and I do not like wasting anybody's time. So yeah, that is what I hate about teaching, but it pales in comparison to the positive things.
I totally agree. You can't help someone who doesn't want to help themselves. And how long have you been teaching for?
More than a year and a half, I think.
With your experience teaching for a year and a half now at this point, what do you think are the qualities that a teacher should possess?
I did jokingly say that I was bossy, and I think to a certain extent, being a little bit bossy could help with being a teacher. Of course, it's not being overly bossy, I guess, but the ability to showcase just a little hint of authority. As a student, it is scary. You are navigating around a new field that you do not really know clearly about. So having a figure that is strong-headed, they know what they are talking about, they have a strong character, it really helps. Some people really enjoy those kind of teachers, I guess. And another thing is quite cliche, patience. Of course, for the love of God, do not hit your children. Do not physically harm your students. Cut them some slack.
Yeah, I think you really need to be patient and you really need to be in someone else's shoe to be able to empathize or at least sympathize with them and their situation. I think teaching English is a rather lucrative market here in Vietnam. So I think a lot of people would be interested in becoming a teacher. So, what advice would you give to someone who is working towards becoming an English teacher specifically here in Vietnam?
I think some people are going to disagree with me on this. I am in the line of thought that if you cannot practice what you teach, you shouldn't teach it. I see a lot of people who lacks the solid foundation, the fluency in English, and they study with the aim to become teachers. And I just shake my head a little because no, you shouldn't do that. It is not good for you. It's not good for the student you are going to teach. This isn't applicable to every field, of course, but I think that before you want to teach English, you must be able to practice it every day. Like you cultivate relationship through speaking English. You consume English Western media. You maybe you did a lot of translation job beforehand, a little bit of freelance. Get your English to that kind of level before teaching. It will be much simpler for you. I know the teaching is not for everyone. Just because it works for me and Jane doesn't mean it's going to work for everyone else. Of course, you have to try to know that whether it is suitable for you or not. But just manage your expectation. Not everybody is going to be able to teach.
I really resonate with that. I think it makes a lot of sense that you should know what you're getting into. You're actually doing yourself and the students a favor if you're near native fluent or if you're fluent enough and you have the skills to be able to teach. Because if not, then You're just teaching them wrong things. I don't know, guiding them in the wrong direction. That's definitely not good. So I want Nam to be able to have more time to eat without me bothering him. So let's wrap it up with one last question. What plans do you have for your future regarding your career or regarding your academic pursuits?
That is a question that requires contemplation to answer. Sometimes you think that you know where you're going. You have a direction to work towards. However, at times, the path that you made for yourself will become a little bit blurry. You're not sure if you're going to finish it or not. At first, when I started teaching, I was really enjoying the work. I still do. I still really enjoy teaching and getting to talk every day with my great students, yeah, about a language and culture that I adore. But at times, I ask myself, do I really want to teach for the rest of my life? I intended to study for a master degree in education and stuff, but someone told me that I am too young to be teaching. And they said that not because I don't want you to waste your youth. Your youth is your own, but you're too young to be teaching because by your age, in your 20s, they told me to put yourself out there. Work in other lines, other kind of careers, because every day you go to work in a new position, you learn tenfold. And yeah, it was really eye-opening for me. So if you ask me what I'm going to do, I don't know. I'm definitely continue teaching, but only part time. The rest of my time, I don't know. Maybe I'll actually study my master degree, or become a freelance dancer, content creator, motivational speaker, or maybe a 2010 YouTuber in 2024. It may work. It works.
I think it's all right that we don't know what we want yet. For some people, it takes their whole life. You're right. You're still so young. We're only like 23, 24, right? So I think it's only reasonable that we take some time, maybe take a step back. Yeah. Think about our future a little bit more. Thank you so much for sharing, and I definitely believe that everyone would really appreciate your perspective. Yeah, that's it. Do you have anything you want to say?
Are you paying?
Yes, I'm paying.
Just kidding. Maybe one last bit of advice. Do not focus too much on being perfect. Just work toward perfection, but willing to embrace your mistakes and learn from it. There isn't like a binary, like you're either perfect or you just stop trying at all. You can work towards this side of close to perfect. People are doing that their entire life, and it's the same with English. So practice, speak English, speak your chosen language every single day, and you will improve. I am still improving. I made plenty of mistakes throughout this interview. Do I care? Yes, I will improve it. But do I care that people will judge me for that? No, no. No one can judge me more severely than myself. I challenge you that.
Thank you, and thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. We'll see you next time.